You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This special edition 1 episode is sponsored by Cisco, taking your business a level up. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your guest host, Logan Lyles, and we are live in Denver, Colorado at the Ingram Micro ONE event. We've got 3 guests for today's episode. We've got Ryan Kingston, the manager of US and Canada distribution at Cisco. We've got Pat Dempsey, the distribution services and software manager at Cisco. And then we've got Nicole Dziedzic, senior vendor business manager at Ingram Micro. Guys, welcome to the show today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I love it. We've got a great group for a great conversation today. My first question for the group, you guys, Cisco is in the process of pivoting into a software company and working to change the way that not only they go to market, but how your partners go to market with their solutions. Can you guys tell us a little bit more about that changing dynamic?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. So obviously Cisco is one of many companies right now, in particular in the IT industry, that's pivoting into software. It's been wonderful. It's been a huge transformation for our company. Obviously highlighted by the fact that we are one of the only in the IT industry that's really pivoting with a partner channel and distribution channel as well, which adds a lot of excitement to the fact that we're completely transforming our business. But this has really been driven by our customer. The customers are demanding that we actually shift into a software company based on everything that software gives from IT, technology, and solutions. Ease of deployment from a software-based perspective. It's very cost-effective. They really want to pay for what they use, for what they consume, and certainly it gives them very quick access to innovation. As far as shifting to software, though, there really does present a lot of challenges for our partners, and Cisco is really helping our partners through a very long and extensive journey to really be valuable in the software business.
And the one thing we always hear from partners too is how do we do this? And I think that's where Ingram Micro really does a great job of tying that in with their field, their associates, their internal teams, and really kind of understanding from a Cisco perspective and Ingram perspective how to present this to the partners.
One of the things I think Cisco's doing really well is that, they are transitioning to more of a software company, but they're not just worried about those initial sales. They're really worried about partners and making sure they adopt the solutions that they're purchasing so that they get the full value out of whatever it is that they are consuming from Cisco.
So let's talk about the what for a second too. I think it's really important because it's one thing to say you're pivoting to software, but it's something else to talk about everything that we're doing in that pivot. So talk about really being adaptive with a brand new go-to-market strategy, asking our partners and customers to understand recurring and software consumption and adoption, as Nicole pointed out. But there's also been a transformation in our program portfolio, taking sort of the upfront project-based, you sell this and you can profit from it, to, hey, you position this with the business outcome. You actually help a customer use what they bought. You get a customer for life with Cisco, and that's how we're sort of pivoting our incentive strategy to go along with the overall software pivot.
So the way companies purchase hardware now has changed. So everything what Ryan was talking about, it's really around buying the product, understanding how we're going to adapt to the features of the product, expansion. So from a CX perspective and from a customer success perspective, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, if there's no adoption, then that customer experience just kind of stops.
Right, and that's how it was. I've been in the industry for quite a long time, and in the beginning was sell the product, move on to the next product.
Yep.
Now it's understanding, here's my product, what can it do, what are some of the features, how do I turn on those features, how do I create the business outcome for the end customer, but ultimately how do I create a revenue stream for both the partner and distribution when it comes to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, Cisco seems to be very focused on digital transformation. It's been a buzzword for a while, and how it's key to scale within the partner community. So I would love for you guys to talk a little bit about how Ingram and Cisco are partnering together to deliver a digital experience specifically for partners.
Yeah, so Ingram is really focused on how do we help enable our 2T partners. So those are partners that do, a little bit less in Cisco, roughly $25 million or less a year. And Ingram is really there to help scale Cisco and enable those partners to really understand what is this pivot and what does it mean for their business and how do they go about it. But then again, aligning the business outcomes. So going to market differently with their end customers so that they can continue to compete in the market with some of the larger partners out there.
I actually love the digital transformation question because to me it is a buzzword, right? Digital transformation to me means a lot of different things. It means customer behavior around how they want to be interacted with digitally. It means sort of a scalable engagement by leveraging sort of the digital platform to reach more customers, more partners, more interactions, more technologies within an existing customer sales portfolio. It's things like commerce automation and lifecycle advantage. I saw my friend Brian Buckner here in the booth a couple minutes ago talking about lifecycle advantage, which is one of obviously Cisco's flagship digital transformation and automation platforms, but it's also our ability to sort of market Cisco and our partners differently in a digital world, and it's about operating differently. The operating model in a software and recurring revenue business is completely different than what we've done for 30 years very successfully at Cisco. So a lot of different things to focus on as we invest in digital transformation and really everything that encapsulates.
And Cisco's invested a lot of money within Ingram Micro around lifecycle advantage. So I'm sure Brian talked about it a little earlier, but from a recruitment perspective, from understanding how we, from an automation perspective, we can go to market, Ingram has really been the lead from all of our distributor partners.
And one of the things that Ingram's doing, and I think we're doing really well today, is as partners are starting to pivot their business and they're looking at their business differently, it's really important that they can reduce OpEx and that they can quickly transform their business. And to do that, we've created tools such as Cisco Partner Go on our ingrammicro.com website that it takes a lot of that transactional workload off of the partner so that they can start to focus in other areas of providing different value to their end customers versus having to spend time placing POs or really understanding the quote process, taking that complexity out of Cisco and making it a lot simpler to enable them to then scale their business.
So one last thing as well, I think we're talking a little bit about the investments, and that's what's available right now, but I also want to talk a little bit about what's to come. A lot of our partners have expressed a lot of interest in Cisco's customer experience organization. There's a lot of digital things that are happening within CX right now at Cisco. We've made huge investments in making sure that the data, the telemetry, and the insights associated with that telemetry are made available to our partners to really help them have more meaningful interactions with their customers around the entire life cycle of that customer. And what's coming here within the next 6 months is our CX customer and partner portal. So partners are going to have access to all of that great telemetry, business insights, and install base information in one platform for them to utilize. So another way that we are taking a lot of our great content that has existed disparately in our organization and tools, and we're really digitally bringing them together to present them and package them up for our partners.
Yeah, that makes sense, Ryan. So you and Nicole have both talked about this a little bit, but knowing that 90% of Cisco's business flows through their partners, can you guys discuss a few other ways that Cisco is partnering with Ingram Micro to help partners show up the right way for their customers?
Well, the first thing really, I'll take that one for you guys. We're investing in enablement. I think it's really important. When you think about the partners and the partner journey, every partner's at a different stage. So it's not a cookie cutter type approach. So we have to make sure that every partner has the ability to understand where they are in the journey, what they're needing. And so one thing Cisco is doing is investing lots of money within distribution to make sure that we're enabling the partners and enabling distribution to make sure that we can help them as they progress at their speed. We've been doing this, we've been talking about transformation for maybe 2.5, 3 years, but really what's happening now is partners are really understanding what is taking place, and they're asking a lot of questions, and Ingram has really created a on-site team to answer those questions.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, so Pat mentioned it, it's all around the enablement, but it's also around the customization, because I think each partner is different, and how they want to show up is going to be different. So we're really here to help support it in whatever way they feel is right for their business, and however fast they want to move forward and transform their business.
So at Cisco, the distribution channel really represents an extension of Cisco overall. And Cisco, for the entire history of us under John Chambers and Chuck Robbins, have been a partner-led business. Our partner community is the envy of the industry. And we take pride in the fact that we will continue to bring our partners along with us on this journey because they really do represent Cisco to our customers at scale. And they bring their own value, what we call their own edge, as recently branded at our Cisco Partner Summit, to the customers. So what we need to do now is we need to invest in and with our partners differently. We need to create new capabilities. When you consider what we're doing around our services portfolio, we really are evolving all of those services offers to allow partners to better wrap their own services and differentiated value around what we've prepackaged for them. And it requires new capabilities and potentially new roles. We've invested in not a lot of new roles within Cisco. The distributors have invested in those same roles, staying very aligned to our business strategy around having very specific individuals that are helping sell, helping support, helping activate and adopt, and helping renew to make sure that our partners are leveraging those opportunities all the way around what we lovingly call the Cisco racetrack or the customer life cycle.
And Logan, the key really on this is that when this is going to go out to the partner community, there's a lot of partners here. We're talking a lot about these type of different things. They need to reach out to their Ingram associates. We're working closely with them, so if they have questions around this, we're here to field them. And as Ryan alluded to, it's not a one approach for all of them. We have to make sure what we need to do, where they are, and what they're asking for.
Yeah. So as at Cisco, we've talked a lot about customer success, customer experience. We've touched on a few times. What roles do you guys see Ingram Micro playing in helping partners accelerate both of those fronts, customer experience as well as customer success best practices?
So
they're the scaling engine.
Yep.
Yeah. Ultimately, they're the scaling engine. I mean, when you think about the amount of partners that Ingram touches on a daily basis, Cisco needs them to help get this messaging out. There's no way we can do it by ourselves. So, part of my job working closely inside of Ingram Micro is making sure that I get the messaging from my leadership, and Ryan's part of that leadership team, and driving that in and working with, Nicole and Peter Graber and the Ingram team to make sure what's Cisco's direction, how we're going to get there, and make sure we're driving towards that.
Well, to me, it looks different, but fundamentally, distribution's always done three things for Cisco. They've enabled our partners, as Pat mentioned, really helping a partner understand how they transform their business to maintain relevance and profitability with Cisco and in this new marketplace, shifting to software. Number two, understanding where a partner needs help and has gaps in their own capabilities and delivering those either to or through the partner. So services delivery on behalf of partners to really help augment their capabilities, even if it's a shadowing exercise to truly help the partner get their resources and capabilities up to speed in an accelerated fashion. And three, it's about profitability. It's about profitability for Disty, but it's certainly about profitability for our partners. And Ingram Micro has always done a fantastic job in really creating opportunities for partners to earn and make money in a new world through their programs. And from a marketing perspective, it's not just about the incentive program, because consider yourself as a partner in this new world trying to present differently to a customer. You really need to go through an exercise to be able to brand yourself differently to that customer. Customers are making buying decisions long before Cisco, Ingram Micro partners typically are making a recommendation for them on what to buy. So it's really important to have that social presence. It's really important to have a solid brand out there around all the new technologies, programs, and capabilities that Cisco offers. And Ingram is right there with us helping partners do that. The last thing I'll say is Ingram Micro does the best in all of the world from a distribution perspective around renewals enablement, and that's never been more critical to Cisco and our partners right now. It's not just about services renewals any longer. We are aggregating our entire renewable portfolio into one set of data, one set of programs, and really one motion to the customer. And that is a huge task from a data perspective, considering the fact that we've got all of our term and content licensing in our new security portfolio. We've got DNA Center, which is the flagship offer from our brand new CX organization. We've got all our SmartNet Total Care, which is obviously a huge book of business for us, over $1 billion in the US available to our partners. And as Chuck just said on our last earnings call, now 71% of our software sales are subscription. So we've got a lot to do to help our partners not only activate these subscriptions, but most importantly, retain these customers through a sound renewal strategy.
Yep, it goes back to where we started with that major pivot, right? And you point out all the things, the work that goes into making that sustainable, not just a one-time thing.
Yeah, and I think Ryan and Pat really touched on it. We are scale, but Ingram is more than just a scale engine. to Ryan's point, we have so many different things that we can offer the partners, cross-vendor, multiple solutions from a renewals perspective, right? So we talk about Ingram doing really well in the renewal space from a Cisco perspective, but we have tools that are out there specific to our customers that can help aggregate renewals cross-vendor so that it's easy for them to consume and go to market with regardless of whatever it is that they're selling, and it's all held in one single place. So being able to partner with Cisco to bring some of that data into our tools and then push it back out to our partners is extremely important, and it's really critical and has been critical to the success that we've been seeing.
I love it, guys. Each one of you brings some passion to this topic. Ryan, Pat, Nicole, if anyone listening to this would like to go a little bit further on this topic, either reach out to one of you or a specific resource you might point out to them to follow up and go deeper on this topic.
Yeah, so again, I would always say that they want to reach out to their market development team. We also have dedicated resources specific to customer success. Chris Blackwell, who is here at IM1 as well, is always a great resource and get the folks to the right place. But always their market development rep can get them to the right place, and they really are their one-stop shop.
I love it. So we have to close with a standard question we do here on B2B Tech Talk. We'll kick it to you on this one first, Pat. Tell us a little bit about where you see technology going over the next year.
Well, I think with the emergence of 5G, smart cities, all the things that from a Cisco perspective we're driving through, I think you're going to see a lot of change in the auto industry. You're already seeing some of that. You look at Amazon and what they're trying to do from a business to consumer type of marketing, their digital approach, how they're really marketing to that audience, and I think technology is really going to be the key component to drive that. Everything that you've seen from all these disruptors have all come from technology. Whether it's Uber, whether it's Dollar Shave Club, whether it's the Amazons of the world. So I think from a technology perspective, I expect new disruptors that will come into this marketplace over the next 2 years that we currently don't even have.
Right, because that barrier to entry for a new disruptor is much lower than it's ever been.
Well,
right?
it's amazing. From a personal side, I mean, I have a college student, and all of a sudden I'm into all these different subscriptions, whether they're Spotify and Netflix and streaming, all these different things. So I'm older, and I'm changing the way I consume information. I'm changing the way I do from a consumption perspective on how I buy. So I can't, from a technology perspective, I think it's going to continue to change and evolve. So that's what my expectations are.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Pat. Ryan, how about you?
Well, Pat's a lot older than me, so I don't have any kids in college yet. But I would suggest a lot of the points that he made are great. And what I would kind of bring this back into Cisco, I would tell you that predicting what the technology universe looks like over the next 1 to 2 years really aligns well to what we're doing around our business specialization strategy right now. We've gone away from just having an architecture certification process, and now we're looking at specific business acumen. We started with customer experience because we want to make sure that we have credentialed partners able to demonstrate the ability to deliver true life cycle and great customer experiences on behalf of Cisco. And the next business specialization is around IoT, right? Understanding that the power of the compute is at the edge with the sensors, mass amount of data consumption, and really kind of changing the world from an IoT perspective with Cisco and our partners. Lastly, and this is another thing that I really love about being part of Cisco, I believe that technology is also going to continue to focus on everything that we're doing from a philanthropic perspective. We are giving back to our communities. We are really trying to make the world a better place. So I think that's going to continue to be this part of a major transformation in the industry that Cisco is right at the forefront of, to make sure it's not just about Cisco as a company and our shareholders, but it's also about our people and our communities and our overall global way of life.
Good point. Great point.
That is a great way to round it out, Ryan. If anyone listening to this has a question for our guests or wants to join this conversation, you can join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram Tech Soul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
Thank you.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. This special edition 1 episode is sponsored by Cisco. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast player.